This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergame.
Over a half century later, still here and having fun. Glad you are too. Welcome everybody. Happy to have you along for the next 30 minutes. I am Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Bergame. Sit tight because we got a lot of good stuff for you today. Coming up, straight from the field to your car, fresh Georgia grown watermelon. Nothing quite like it, right? However, with the challenges producers face this spring, were they ripe for the picking? He's the person behind some of the best vino the state has to offer. A conversation with Chateau Elan's executive winemaker Simone Bergese and why his wines continue to pile up award after award. And then later, long gone are the many farms that once occupied this Georgia city. However, some community members haven't forgotten their roots. Ray with the story of how this former tree farm is now giving back to the area food bank. These stories and so much more start right now on the Farm Monitor.
It's officially summer, and we all know what that means. Time for some sweet, juicy watermelons, something Georgia producers are probably harvesting as we speak. Our John Holcomb traveled to Crisp County and spoke to one grower about this year's outlook.
Nothing says summertime quite like a big, juicy, sweet watermelon. Thankfully, Georgia has plenty of producers that grow them, pack them, and get them into stores for people to enjoy during the summer months. One operation that is busy doing just that is Jackson Farms down in Cordele, as they're right in the middle of harvesting, something they're no doubt excited to see after the growing season they've had.
This year's growing season actually been real tough. The plants, they've gone through a stressful point just about every step through the process, from the beginning to being way too wet, then getting cold, winds picking up, and then everything just kind of shut off and dried up. And it's been a tough one. Disease has really set in on us. There's this one disease called fusarium. It's really been taking these fields, and a lot of these farmers around here have experienced it. And they tell us that it loves to live in cold soil. And the cool nights for the past month, it didn't help out.
Although they haven't had the best growing season, one positive thing they can say about this year so far is that their harvest is going well, and they're hoping things stay that way until they can get done.
Harvest is actually going good. The quality's not the best we've had, but it's not terrible. And actually the fruit is being set on the plant. If we just had some vine coverage, we could actually get some size and have a heavier cutting, but the fruit is there. So as far as harvesting goes, everything's looking good right now. We just hoping we can keep it up.
This season, of course, comes on the heels of the COVID-19 pandemic. But surprisingly, Jackson says 2020 was one of the best years they've ever had in terms of demand. That's, of course, thanks to people being stuck at home and wanting a sweet snack for the family to enjoy.
With the restaurants being shut down, Lord bless their soul, but it pushed everyone in their homes. So what happened was, to feed a family, one would go out and buy watermelon and feed their children for a whole weekend. I mean, we couldn't keep the distribution centers stocked. I mean, they were begging for more and more melons. So last year it was just, we hit it out of the park. But this year, everything's starting to open back up to normal, but you can still see that the price is there because of it.
And so far, this year isn't looking half bad either, as market prices seem to be doing fairly well. However, Jackson says that if some of the costs of supplies like pallets and boxes weren't so high, things would be much better for them and other growers.
The market is actually steady and keeping its right price. We're sitting around 21 cents a pound, which is good. But when you factor in the lack of pallets and inflation costs on them, boxes going up, and labor and trucks being hard to find, it kind of takes everything away. But at the end of the day, if we end up coming out on top with our gross, we'll be fine.
Reporting in Cordele for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
A trip to Napa Valley or Sonoma isn't necessary to experience some of the best wines in this country. In fact, you don't even have to leave the state. Chateau Elan has been winning awards for the past decade with a winemaker that brings more than 25 years of experience to this renowned Barrow County winery.
when you come at Chateau Elan, you really get something that you didn't expect. So in this vineyard, we have muscadine varieties, Noble and Carlos. I make 7 muscadine wines, and then I make 20 other wines, drier, classic, aged, etc. A total of 30 wine selection coming from the grapes of this vineyard, grapes from the south of Georgia, and grapes that we grow in California. My purpose is just to create something that will please everybody. You have a specific taste profile, get this. You like other wines, get that, you'll find your fit. These 2 varieties, they have the perfect flower, so they can self-impollinate. They don't need to rely on wind or insect and having female and male planted, such as most of the varieties of muscadine. Growing quality grapes is always tough, but you can choose your mission. You can decide to struggle and to plant varieties that are not meant to be because you want to be a certain producer, and therefore you want to plant Cab, you want to plant Petit Verdot because that's what you like. The most successful wineries are the ones that put their money in the right varieties, understood what can be done and what cannot be done. There are some that are coming along, so muscadine is actually very interesting and exciting world from a winemaking standpoint because there are different variety with this different kind of flavor profile. And so we grow Carlos and Noble, but probably in the near future we're going to plant some experimental variety as well. You know, you are in Italy, you are in Piemonte, in my area, you grow 3 varieties, that is the wine you do because it makes sense. It has been done for centuries. Here, I can do everything I want to and experiment with everything I want to. And people comes here expecting the unexpected. And so it's good for me to try, to experiment, to create product. And that's everything that a winemaker wants because you want to create new stuff. You're gonna have expression of vintages different. And so one harvest might be better than the other, but that's what is the charm of the wine. You know, you don't replicate the same product over and over. You can find those little nuances that are different, you know, wine from, you know, a vintage to vintage, depending on how much sun, when did you harvest, how much rain, diseases, etc., etc. You're just making sure that everything that from the raw material, so from the grape and so from the juice, is flawless, and therefore all the key point in the winemaking process that can last 2 months to 4 years, 5 or 6 years, depending on the wine, it becomes, like, you know, the top quality that you want at the end.
Well, it's another testament to how agriculture can bring a community together. After the break, why organizers of this Alpharetta farm were surprised by the outpouring of support.
We know that we have been blessed. To have the opportunity to take care of this land. It's very evident what's passionate to people, and you know it's hard to hide it. I don't try to hide it. That's the only way we've stayed in business, is increasing production and efficiencies. We certainly couldn't. You couldn't stay in the cotton business or any other business making what yields that we made 20 years ago, in yields and performance and safety and flavor, abundance. We got to feed a bunch of people in the years to come. They asked me what was the one thing that allowed us to stay in business as long as we've been here since like 1860. And my answer was relationships. And I said relationship with your God, your family, your producers, your buyers, your suppliers. There's 3 farmers and a bunch of environmentalists. Now these people, they were either regulatory or in the industry or made some products for it. And I walked through a trade show prior to talking. And this was back a good many years ago, but you know, they just come out, everything was green. That was the big word, green. Well, when I got given my little presentation, I just couldn't help it. I got up and said, y'all folks, y'all really think that y'all have invented this word green? I said, y'all using it mighty hard. I said, but you're about 65 years late, because we named our farm Greenview Farms back then. So we've been practicing green for a long time. The other word y'all think y'all have invented is sustainability. I said, we've been here since 1860. That's sustainability.
When one thinks of Alpharetta, Georgia, a couple of things may come to mind. Successful business people, wealth, lavish houses, active lifestyles. Agriculture, not so much. Well, it may surprise you to know that Alpharetta actually has a deep, rich history when it comes to ag. So when a select few in North Fulton County wanted to return to their roots, so to speak, that's when city officials put their heads together and came up with the farm at Old Rucker Park. If you didn't know about it, or hear about it, chances are you'd never know it was there. Tucked away just a stone's throw from Rucker Road, the farm at Old Rucker Park now occupies what was once a family-owned tree farm. It all began in 2018 with a vision to make the farm whole again.
It all started actually with a beautiful, generous donation from Whole Foods Market to receive a farm. And we like to kind of jokingly say that we received a farm in a box. Whole Foods Market had been operating an educational farm nearby, and when they were done doing that, they offered to donate all of the materials, all of the equipment, the soil, the greenhouse, everything to the city of Alpharetta. And so the city received that generous gift, and the community agriculture program was born.
By definition, community is a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. But neither Amanda nor anyone else involved with the project were prepared for the type of fellowship they encountered once the word went out about the need for volunteers to get the farm up and running.
When we started the Grow a Row program, which is a program where we're inviting the community to help us grow food for our local food bank at North Fulton Community Charities. We knew that we wouldn't be able to manage it ourselves. To grow and to expand our growing space by 50%, we knew that with the current staffing that we have, there's no way that we would be able to manage that. People are busy, and who does want to come out? Who is willing to come out and spend 5 hours, 10 hours a week tending a row of crops to give to people that they don't know? We have 14 rows, and we thought maybe we can get 3 people to take each row. Our expectations were that we might get a half a dozen people involved in the program. And when we put it out there, we had 60 people apply to join the Grow a Row program, and we were just overwhelmed.
It gives you a sense of accomplishment, but doing something for the better good, because you're doing something that people really truly have taken to heart and believe in. So, and this is, it's more than, you know, working for a company and doing credit card processing or something like that. There's a little bit more to this because it's kind of to basic needs, which is food. So it was I love seeing it. It's very rewarding.
However, providing resources to the local food bank is only a small portion of what the farm at Old Rucker Park has to offer. Additionally, area residents can rent out their own garden plot to grow food for themselves. The farm also serves as an outdoor classroom to Cambridge High School, the only FFA chapter in North Fulton County. And for Emily Dillard, Community Ag Coordinator for the City of Alpharetta, the farm is a dream come true and what she calls a hidden gem. Quite possibly the best kept secret in all of Alpharetta.
Once you get here, it just opens up into like this magical playground. There's everything. I mean, for kids, for older people, everyone in between. So what you see today is I mean, complete night and day. Yeah, when we got here, I don't know if Amanda mentioned, but weeds and grass were up to our knees. I mean, I remember wearing like the big long muck boots. So your feet, you didn't know what you were stepping on. So we've come such a long way, and I credit our community for that, because Amanda and I could not have done what you see here today without, you know, the support from the city and from our community, for sure.
3 years ago, I couldn't have imagined in my happiest dream that we would be here today. So I don't really know where we'll be in 3 years. I really like to have the guidance of the community, where we're going to go, what are they interested in? Do we need more beehives? Do we need a larger greenhouse to do more propagation in? What is that? Do we need a larger flower garden? I'm really hoping that the community can tell us, and I trust that the community will tell us what we should do here for the next 3 years, because they've really been our compass for these first 3 years, and they've done a great job.
Up next, history is made in Savannah, and those who witnessed it say they have never seen anything like it.
From the GPS on tractors to the software running irrigation pivots, recent technological advancements within the agricultural industry have resulted in record crop production. However, that yield has been somewhat mitigated by harvesting inefficiencies that Farmwave, a new ag technology company, is looking to reduce with this new piece of machinery.
Margins are razor thin for farmers, as we all already know. This is providing real value in real time to growers. In addition, we're solving that loss problem by being able to produce more with less. In 2019, in the United States alone, in just corn, it was a $1.4 billion problem. We left about $1.4 billion worth of grain in the field. And with Farmwave, what we're seeing over the past year, we began prototyping last season and is out in the market this season. We're seeing in corn an average of 3 to 5 more bushels per acre, and 5 to 7 more bushels per acre in soybeans.
As for how this system works, it constantly measures the amount of grain being harvested and gives those results to the farmer in real time. That allows them to determine exactly where in the field adjustments need to be made.
This is happening approximately 144 times an acre. So where we would see that counts were being done maybe once a day, maybe once a season, sometimes not at all by growers, Farmwave's doing it 144 times an acre. And this is all happening with AI at the edge. We've taken it to the next level of not just saying we're seeing loss, but here's where we're seeing loss on the machine, and here's about how much we're seeing. So it gives you a much better idea of what's going on to make those accurate adjustments.
And it's not just helpful resolving issues in the field, but also on the equipment itself. With the steady calculation of input, farmers will know immediately if there's an issue with their gear at any time during the harvest.
It's adding a lot of value on farm machinery, specifically in combine harvesters, but also in sprayers and in the future in planters, to look at loss in real time, off the header and even in the cleaning area, coming into an iPad through a display that shows you about an average number of bushels per acre that you're losing, where it's coming from, giving you the information to make adjustments in real time.
While all this new technology might sound complicated, the setup is anything but. In fact, you can have everything up and running in less time it would take you to fill up the gas tank.
We've made this system so easy to deploy, you can do it in about 60 seconds. And we show that on a YouTube video on our channel of a very quick deployment. The idea is to get it on and get to harvesting right away.
Reporting from Fulton County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Finally this week, after years of planning for its arrival, the Port of Savannah finally welcomed the largest ship ever to serve the East Coast. And trust me when I say that that picture behind us doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't. At 1,300 feet long and more than 170 feet wide, the CGM Marco Polo is the equivalent of 4 football fields. That's right, 4 football fields. Its arrival into the port, a sight to behold.
We just came to let the kids see the big ships that come through.
We saw one big one come in yesterday, and they said, "Do you think that's big? A bigger one's coming tomorrow."
There's a big ship right by those trees.
When the ships come up the river, it seems like you can just reach out and touch them.
I've taken pictures of video of my kids and some of the other ones, so they're gonna be pretty amazed to see this.
Good to be part of Savannah's history.
So the day started for me at 3:15 this morning. Got up, went down to Savannah, picked up our chairman, and we rode out to the vessel. That's one of the great things that no other port can offer. There's nowhere else you could take a 16,000 TEU right past the waterfront. I felt like I always wanted to be in a parade and wave, and everybody was waving back. But they were way down there and we were way up there, so it was really neat. It's great to see the city come out in force. Not only local folks, because I know they were there, our neighbors called and said, "What time is that ship coming down?" But you also have all those tourists that come and see Savannah and see something so unique that you can't ever touch and see anywhere else. It's great. It's great.
The Port of Savannah is a very, very special port for us for many reasons. Many of us have had the opportunity to work together for many years, and there's a lot of trust. When you take that factor of working together and the trust, and you put it together of how this port has executed the CMA CGM over the years, they've done an incredible job.
This is not an overnight success. The Georgia port has been building for this for 20 years. SHIP, the Mega Rail, First One, all of these projects now are lining up to meet the demand of vessels like this. So as they say, luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
You know, the port's done a great job of staying on top of capital projects here on the port and keeping the cranes ahead of when we need them. It seems like they always show up the week before you have to have them. The roads always open up the week before you just have to have them. It's a great place to be a developer and just play off of the success of the port here.
We decided to invest in the Southeast in Savannah, Georgia about 2.5 years ago. We run about 800,000 square feet of warehousing and about 40 drayage trucks coming in and out of the ports. Savannah, the Port of Savannah, Georgia Ports Authority have been absolutely great partners for us, not only attracting our customers to come in and move from the West Coast and some of the other ports across the country, but helping us get established in the community as well. So it's been great the last 2.5 years. We intend to invest more in Savannah in the marketplace in Georgia and continue to grow our footprint here.
To Griff Lynch, Ed McCarthy, and all the GPA employees who allowed the ILA to come in here and just do what we do. I want to thank everyone for just allowing us to be a part of this. And Mr. President, I guarantee if you bring your ship here, we'll do our level best to put it on the high seas.
When you come to this terminal, you see that there's a very close relationship between labor and management. Had a good discussion with them this morning. They were very proud of the fact that the ship was going to come in on this time and the ship will be out on that time. So it seemed to be a united effort to do the best job they can for our company. Once again, the faster this off the ship gets out the gate to our customers. So we're excited about this port. Many customers are talking about it. We'll be where the customers ask us to be, and as a team, we're going to accomplish some great things.
That is one massive ship, isn't it? Well, before we send you on your way, a friendly reminder that for all the latest ag news regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening out on Georgia farms, be sure you check out our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of agriculture and with us right here on the show. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.